What's up? It's Tice. And if you're stuck flipping a couple phones a week and you're doing about 1 to 5K a month with phone flipping and you're wondering why you're not able to scale it, it's not because of time, it's not because of competition, and it's not because of capital. It's because you haven't fixed the invisible bottlenecks and the invisible constraints that you can't even see that are in your business. And these are things that every person that's making $10,000 a month phone flipping and beyond, they have fixed these bottlenecks and fixed these problems, and that's why they're making that amount of money. So I'm gonna exactly tell you exactly the exact problems that you need to fix that every single 10K a month phone flipper had to break through. So I'm gonna show you exactly what they are and exactly how to solve them and exactly kind of how it goes, because I've been through it and I've helped multiple people go through the same exact thing, and I've seen the same exact pattern through every single one of those people. So first thing is you have to understand the reason why you're at 1 to 5K a month, or you could even have this problem at 6 or 7 or 8K a month. It's different for everybody. But your strategy right now with phone flipping, I'm assuming, is it's probably just you're just doing cold outreach to get your phones. So you're just doing cold outreach on like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, and then you're just selling your phones back on Facebook Marketplace, right? Normally that's how it starts out. Some people do that a little bit longer than others, but probably right now that's what you're doing. Now at this stage, your bottleneck is selling phones, right? You think your bottleneck is selling phones. A bottleneck, I mean the problem that you need to solve, which is okay, like the constraint, because business is just solving problems. You need to solve a problem to get to the next level, right? So if you're at 5K a month, there's a problem on why you're not getting to 10K a month, so you need to solve that problem, and normally that's how you go up in business. And that's just how business works, right? If you're at 5K a month, you have to solve a problem to get to 10. And then when you're at 10, another problem occurs and you have to fix it to get to 12. And that's how business goes. It goes on and on and on. More problems come up. It's normal. That's how business is. Now, at this stage, your bottleneck is selling phones, right? You think your bottleneck is selling phones. So you think that is why you're not making XYZ a month, because you can't sell your phones fast enough. You're waiting days to sell your phones and you're just sitting on inventory, right? So at this stage, you're probably like, yeah, I could buy enough phones, or maybe you can't. But at this stage, I'll get to that in a little bit. But at this stage, you're probably like, yeah, I could get enough phones. Like I get maybe a phone a day, or maybe a couple phones a week, or whatever it is. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, my problem is just selling the phones. They take too long to sell, or I can't get the price I want. And I'm just sitting on inventory and I can't move my phones fast enough. So what most people do at this stage, and I've seen it and I've done it too, right? Because I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from people I've actually helped too. Most people buy a private buyer or find a private buyer, like a wholesale buyer. So they either find one or buy it through some person. So most of the time at this stage, you just take what you can get, right? So at this stage, you're just desperate because you think you are very certain that this is what's going to scale your business and bring it to the next level. So you end up paying money to get connected with someone's buyer, right? I did this too. I'm speaking from experience. I paid money to get connected with somebody's buyer I found on YouTube who said they had a wholesale buyer, right? Because I thought this was going to solve all my problems. I thought this is what I needed to get to 10K a month. I thought this was it. So you end up paying money to get connected to a buyer, or maybe you find a buyer, which is even better. So maybe you buy a course or something from somebody, and you end up, normally, speaking from experience, you end up with a low-end buyer with pretty bad pricing, pretty bad response time, just overall kind of low-quality buyer. It's still a buyer. It's better than selling on Facebook Marketplace sometimes, but you just end up buying someone's course or paying money for a low tier buyer. That's just, bare basic buyer. Like maybe some of you guys are dealing with Atlas. Obviously you don't have to pay for Atlas, but it's a low tier buyer. So now what happens is your system looks like this. You do cold outreach to get your phones. So to source your phones, you do cold outreach, and to sell your phones, you're selling your phones to this wholesale buyer that you met, whether you bought it from a course or you met them like locally or whatever it is. So now you get phones from cold outreach and then you sell your phones to wholesale buyers. Now, what happens at this stage is you'll quickly realize that you'll be like, wow, this is hard to get phones. It's hard to get a phone for a price where I could actually profit $100 profit off this phone. Like you'll realize, wow, it's hard to get a phone where I can actually make $100 profit off of because I have to sell it for this price to this low end buyer, right? So you'll realize, this is a little hard. This buyer's not paying very good pricing. So now you'll start to realize, all right, this is a little hard to get phones now. Now you'll start to realize that you're getting less phones than before. I'm speaking from literal, like this is literally my story. And this is literally exactly what happens with every single phone flipper I've worked with. This is what it just happens. It's just a pattern that happens. I know how I've seen it so many times that now I could talk about it and I could show you guys how to solve it because I've seen this dozens of times. Because I thought, obviously, when you're going through it, you're like, I'm the only one who's going through this. And these people are making all this money. But you have to realize, what I've realized now is I've helped multiple people make over $10,000 a month. And I realized every single one of these people, they have to go through this to get to there. So now I can actually speak on it because I've seen this pattern a million times. I'm used to it now, right? It's just a phase that you go through. It's not anything crazy. It's just, I see it all the time, right? That's why I could actually speak on it now. But now what you'll start to realize is you're getting less phones than you were before. And this is where your next bottleneck comes in, right? So you solved the first thing of getting a buyer. You thought that was going to solve your problem. You thought that was what was going to make you 10K a month or whatever it is. That's what you thought was actually going to get you to the next level. And it did. Maybe it did in a way. But this is where your next bottleneck comes in. Because in order to actually make 5 figures a month with phone flipping, you need to have both ends of the spectrum dialed in, right? You need to have your sourcing dialed in, the way you source phones dialed in, and you also need to have the way you sell phones dialed in, and the whole entire process in between that dialed in, right? And that's how you're actually going to make real money phone flipping. So you can't have one and not the other. They both have to be there to actually hit that number of like 10K a month. So you can't have one and not the other. You have to have both. So at this point, you realize that you need to start sourcing more phones, right? That's what you realize. So now that's your next bottleneck is, all right, I need to source more phones. I need to learn how to source more phones now. So you solved your first problem, which was not selling phones fast enough. So now you just can't get enough phones to sell. Before you weren't getting phones to you weren't getting phones to fast. You weren't getting phones to sell fast enough. Now you can't get phones to sell, right? That's the problem now. So now what a lot of people do at this stage is they just think, oh, I'll do more outreach. I'll reach out to more people. Soon enough, you'll realize that doesn't work because you're putting more effort into a system that's already broken, right? You're putting more effort, more time, more everything into a system that's already broken when you don't realize it's the system you need to change, and it's not the volume, it's not the time you need to put in that'll make the difference. So soon enough you'll realize that, oh, well, that doesn't work because you're just putting more effort into a system that's already broken. And some people come to the realization, not all people, right? But some people come to the realization that you need a different system. Right, you need a different strategy to go about phone flipping, and this scares people because everything that is talked about, like on YouTube or phone flipping in general, normally it's the same thing, right? Normally it's just that's just how phone flipping is, right? No, it's just cold outreach, and you sell your phones back on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe if you get in to someone who has a little bit of knowledge, maybe you hear about private buyers, right? So you think you're in, you think this is the end all be all, you think, like, oh, well, I can't switch my system up to this. Like, who does? Nobody talks about that. That's not how it goes. Phone flipping is supposed to go like this. If you get what I'm saying, right? So it's trying a new strategy or revamping your whole entire system sounds a little scary because you're like, I don't hear anybody talk about that. So it must be like not legit, or it must be, I don't know what you guys would think about it. So yeah, now you realize that you need a different strategy to source your phones so you could get enough of them so you could get enough phones for a low enough price, because that's your problem right now. You could get some phones for a low enough price to sell to the buyer, but you can't get enough phones to sell for a low enough price. Now, obviously, you know this, but you don't know what to start doing, or you don't know how to do it, right? So you probably know, I need a new system. I need a different way to source phones, but you probably don't know what to do. And obviously you don't know how to do it, because you would have already been doing it right now if you knew what to do and how to do it, right? And this is where a lot of people, me personally, this is where you start to go on YouTube. This might be why you're watching this video right now, but this is where you start to go on YouTube and you start to find yourself watching a bunch of videos on YouTube, binge watching, taking little tips here and there, and stuff like that. So this is normally at this stage, normally you're going back to YouTube, to probably where you found this in the first place, and you're like, well, I need to figure out how these dudes are actually making this amount of money. And I need to get some more tips. I need to get some more tricks. I need to learn everything that these guys are doing. So there's two paths that people take from here. Speaking from experience, again, I've taken both of these paths, so listen up. Because there's two paths that people take from here. Number one is that they will watch a shit ton of videos on YouTube. I've done this before. I've watched a shit ton of videos on YouTube. I try to use some free tips, some free sauce I found on YouTube. Somebody would say, hey, run Facebook ads and get private buyers and do this sort of strategy. And I would say, all right, I think I could run Facebook ads on my own. I think I could try it on my own because I think I could work. Obviously, as somebody who's like an entrepreneur and somebody who thinks they could kind of do everything, right? Obviously, because that's most people are. They think I could do this on my own. I don't need help, right? Why would I need help? So watch a bunch of YouTube videos. People tell me to run Facebook ads. People tell me to find buyers. People tell me to do these different ways of sourcing phones. And I was like, oh, I could do this on my own, right? I'll be good if I do this on my own. Let me run Facebook ads on my own. Let me look up a couple of YouTube videos. I'll learn how to run Facebook ads on my own. I don't need this dude's help. So I've done this. I try to do it on my own. And eventually, what most people come, because I've talked to many people that have done this also, and I've done this myself, try everything on my own and eventually fail and eventually lose a lot of money in the process. Because doing shit on your own, it takes a lot of money just to get to the point to learn. Like me, for example, if I tell you to run Facebook ads, because I've already spent multi-five figures on Facebook ads, like money on Facebook ads. So now I know what works. I know what don't work. I know what doesn't work, everything like that. So it'll take you, speaking from, if we're actually being real, it'll take you 5 figures. If you don't get help, it'll take you 5 figures down the drain to even get to where I'm at. And the knowledge that I'm at with Facebook ads, realistically, right? Because I've spent multi-5 figures on Facebook ads. I'm working with people that have spent multi-5 figures on Facebook ads. So it'll take you multi-5 figures of losing that money to get to the point where I'm at knowledge-wise, right? So eventually, yes, I did lose a bunch of money on Facebook ads. And I thought, obviously, what normal people think, or I came to the conclusion that, all right, what this guy's talking about is bullshit, right? It's not my fault. I tried to do it on my own. It's not my fault that it didn't work. It's his fault, right? That's what most people do, because that's what I did at first too. I was like, he's talking about Facebook ads. It must just not work, right? Because I think I did it right. I watched this YouTube video. I think I did it right, and so he must just be talking out of his ass, right? So obviously that's what everyone wants to do. They want to blame everybody else for seeing something online and it didn't work because you did it your own way. And so you come to the conclusion, oh, this guy's full of shit, right? I've done that. That's path number 1. I've done that. Watched a bunch of YouTube videos, tried everything on my own because of course I think I could do everything. Like normally, that's what a normal person would think, is like, I could do this on my own. I don't need help with this. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm doing. I can watch a couple of YouTube videos. I know what I'm doing. Right? So I've done that. I burned a lot of money on a whole lot of bullshit. I got burned by buying buyers from some random people. Some people here on YouTube actually that sell a course that have buyers in them. I got burned by some people. You guys know their names. I don't even gotta say anything. But yeah, I've got burned by them, by their buyers, and everything like that. And yeah, that's path number one. Path number two is this is the type of person I became after that, right? Because I didn't come to the conclusion that, oh, this is all bullshit. I grew from that, right? I didn't say, oh, I'm done with phone flipping because this is all bullshit. I grew from that and I figured that belief doesn't serve me, right? At the end of the day, that belief doesn't serve me. And what am I going to do? Go back to a job and go work a regular job? No, like I have to make this work because obviously you see people making money doing this. You know it works. You just need the right system. You need the right thing in place. So that belief doesn't serve me, and that belief doesn't serve you at all of saying, oh, this is this guy's fault. So what? Even if it is his fault, so what? Okay, it's his fault that you wasted a lot of money. So what? You still wasted a lot of money. That belief doesn't serve you. The belief doesn't do anything for you besides shifting the blame. You're still broke. Like, all right, it's his fault, but you're still broke. So you have to do something that you're still broke, right? So eventually you get out of at least me personally, a lot of people don't get out of this hole of blaming other people for their actions or their money that they lost because they wanted to do it their way, right? A lot of people stay stuck in that hole of blaming other people for what they did wrong and whatever the whole bullshit is, right? Now the next type of person, this is the type of person I became after that. The next type of person will actually learn from someone that already knows what they're doing and try to pay for access to information that they clearly don't know, because if you knew how to get to 10K a month, you'd already be there, right? So clearly somebody knows something you don't. Clearly I know something you don't because you're not at $10,000 a month, right? So I became the type of person that actually paid people to teach me the information and the knowledge of how they got to $10,000 a month. So I paid for somebody to just fast track my success. So instead of, I wish I knew this earlier, but instead of you paying thousands of dollars to learn how to run Facebook ads and fail and fail and fail, you could just pay somebody to fast track your success and you could pay somebody to just grab your hand and take you on top of the hill and be like, this is how you do it. That will save you months of running Facebook ads. Like, let me speak from experience here. That'll save you months of running Facebook ads, dealing with a whole bunch of shitty leads, not knowing what to say to them, dealing with $20, $50 a day on ad spend, just burning money. I don't even want to go. I don't even want to. I wasted months. I ran ads for months at $20, $30, even $50 a day sometimes. So I burned shit ton of money, shit ton of time, and I wish somebody could just be like, yo, this is how you do it, bro. Like, let me take you to the top real quick. This is how you do it. Go do it, right? Now, that's what I obviously do now. But this was very hard to find, especially when honestly, there is nobody that's still, not to even toot my own horn, but I'm the only person that really does this, right? I'm the only person that actually does that sort of thing. Because every single person you've seen here on YouTube, I've bought their course, right? Now the majority, like when I say I paid for information to actually get people to fast track my success, I'm not talking about the people here on YouTube. Like everybody that you've seen here on YouTube that does phone flipping, I've bought their course. Every single person. You name one person, I've bought it. Every single thing. And some knowledge have came from that, but most of the knowledge, when I say I paid for information on fast track, like people to fast track my success and shit, I used to pay phone flippers that were off the grid, like completely off the grid. And I would pay them for an hour or an hour and a half of their time and get on a phone call with them, pay them $100, $200 for an hour, to hop on a phone call with them for an hour, and they would teach me what to do. These are phone flippers that don't sell courses. These are phone flippers that are not on YouTube. These are people that actually only do phone flipping, and that's their actual business. And I just paid them to hop on a call because I would not stop DMing them, because I knew when you see a phone flipper's Instagram account, you know they make money. When you're a phone flipper who makes money, you know what to look for and be like, okay, this guy makes money, right? It's kind of the same thing with a broke phone flipper. If you're looking at a broke phone flipper's Instagram page, you know this guy doesn't make money. But when you're looking at, it's like if you're looking at like a guru's Instagram. You know, sometimes you look at a guru's Instagram and there's certain posts there where you're like, I don't know if this guy really makes money or not. And then there's other gurus where like this dude's on like a Lamborghini yacht and he's in a Bugatti, shit like that, where you're like, all right, this guy's got to have money, right? It was sort of like that. So I would pick up that vibe of obviously, all right, this guy's got to have money, beg them to hop on a call. And that's where a lot of my knowledge came from. Also some other there was this one mastermind that is not even on anywhere anymore. But it was like $400 a month. I got in there for like 6 months. We had group calls like every single week, whatever it is. We're like a bunch of 5-figure a month phone flippers, shit like that. Like that's where I got my knowledge from, not from these bullshit ass people on YouTube. So yeah, that's path 2. Path 2 is just paying for somebody paying to learn from somebody else who's already done it, who's already at the top, that could just guide you on what to do. Now I've gone through both. I've gone through both of those things that I just said. Now, me personally, I've done both. I've personally failed both ways, right? Like I said, I've bought courses from people here on YouTube that I've been like, wow, that was a waste of money. And then I've also not done anything, not bought any courses at the start and wasted a bunch of money on Facebook ads and a lot of time. And I was like, wow, that was also a big ass waste of time and money. So both of them, I've been on the shitty end of both of them. I've been on the shitty end of buying a shitty course, and I've been on the shitty end of not buying anything, not getting any knowledge. Now, I've tried stuff on my own because, of course, I thought I knew everything. And I didn't want to put my ego aside and buy someone's course, and ended up completely failing, losing a bunch of money on ads, like I just said. And I've also bought several courses that just teach the same information that I could literally find on YouTube, right? So, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So I've personally taken both those paths. Now I've already told you what your problems are. So you already know what your problems are, right? And you already know, like I said at the start, this is the key thing, is that one doesn't work without the other. You can't just plug in one side and leave the other side hanging, because that'll also get you nowhere. If you have buyers, but you're doing cold outreach to get your phones, that'll get you nowhere. If you're running Facebook ads and running paid marketing to get your phones and you're getting a shit ton of phones, but it takes you 5-6 days to sell each phone, that'll also get you nowhere. So you need both sides plugged in to actually make a good amount of money with phone flipping. So you know you need private buyers, right? That's number one. You know you need private buyers, wholesale buyers, and you know you need a different sourcing strategy to actually source your phones. You need a different way to source your phones, which obviously paid marketing is how I source my phones. So you know you need a different strategy to source your phones, and you know you need a different strategy to sell your phones also. And that's what's going to make you more money in your phone flipping business. So you know your problems, you know how to solve them. Right now, if you want help with this, like what I was talking about earlier, if you want to fast track your success, and you just want somebody that's already on the top of the mountain to just pull you up and show you what to do and how to do it, you could click the first link in the description if you want to work with me. Like, you don't have to work with me, but if you do want to work with me one-on-one for me to help you with phone flipping, you could book a call with me by clicking the first link in the description. And yeah, again, you'll just learn from somebody who's actually done it. I've actually done it before. I told you I could now speak on this pattern because I've seen it so many times, because I've worked with multiple people that are now making 5 figures a month, and they had to go through that same thing, right? So if you do want to work with me one-on-one, you want personal mentorship on just like how to do all this, and you want to skip all that bullshit, because I've been through the bullshit, everything like that. But if you do just want to skip it, you want one-on-one help, you could click that first link in the description. And I hope this video brought some value to you, kind of maybe related to your situation that you're in, because it happens to a lot of people. Like, don't think you're the only one that actually goes through this, because I've been through it. I've talked to so many people that are like, wow, that is exactly my situation. So yeah, that's that. If you want any help, you can book a call. You want me to guide you throughout the whole way and skip the bullshit, then yeah, that's that.